And he was just like, you okay, buddy? I'd be like, no, I'm not okay. Hello nerds, welcome back to another video. Gabriella here. Today is a good day and it's going to get even better because June has come and gone, guys. It is now over. Pride Month is over. Time to put our flags away and go back into the closet, I guess, for the rest of the year until next June. But it also means that July is here, so that's always exciting. We love a nice summer month. I'm excited for those nice little beach reads, even though I live in Canada and I don't like the beaches here. But, you know, I'm excited for summer. But the end of another month means another wrap up. We need to talk about all the books that I read this month. So before we get into it, click that little subscribe button and that little bell icon so you can be notified of every new video and so you can join the nerd gang and join the little family that we've created over here on Gabby's Pages. So let's just roll the intro and get into it. So the month of June has actually gone really well for me. Reading wise, I think it's one of my best reading months all year. I think it was my best reading month. I read 6 books this month, which is pretty exciting. I'm pretty happy. So let's just get into the books that I've read this month. So I started out the month really, really strong with an undeniable cult favorite. And I can say cult favorite because it's been out for legit a month. But it's One Last Stop by Miss Casey McQuiston. The queen doesn't fail us. She doesn't fail us. Woo! One Last Stop, sapphic romance, magical realism. It is the main character August and Jane's love story as they figure out how to get Jane unstuck from the subway in which she has been stuck since 1976 or 77. So, I mean, could you ask for better? You got the romance aspect, you got the sapphic aspect, okay? Then you got the magical realism aspect, then you got the full 1970s influence aspect. Ugh, gosh. And it's set in New York City. I mean, just from the synopsis and the fact that Red, White, and Royal Blue is still one of my favorite books of all time, I knew One Last Stop was going to be like A1 for me, and I was right. Once again, One Last Stop was, oh, so good. So freaking good. It was an automatic 5-star for me. To be fair, it was an automatic 5-star the second I opened the book. I pre-ordered this book back in 2020 when times were, oh, so different. And I'm so happy when I was so happy when this came into the mail. And it was the first thing I picked up in June because I had to. And you may see some of the tabs here. These are just iconic and funny lines. That's how great this book is. So I could not recommend this enough. And now just talking about it, I want to read it again. But I've got plans for July. But pick it up, guys, if you haven't already. To be fair, though, if you've been on BookTube or on Bookstagram or Book Talk recently, like in the past month, this is probably the only book you've seen for good reason. There's no way to overhype this book. It's incredible. Next, I was really feeling that Pride gay vibe, so I decided to pick up The Black Flamingo. It was on sale at Chapters, so you know I had to pick a bitch up. And Black Flamingo is the story of Michael. He is a young half Jamaican, half Greek boy living in London. Just trying to remember here. And it is his story of self-discovery, coming out, and just his entire journey from childhood to university, which was great. But what made this book even better was the fact that it was written in verse because Diana is actually a poet, and this was his first work of contemporary fiction. And I freaking loved it. It was so great, and it read so well with the way it was written in verse. And it also made me realize how much like extra there are in books sometimes, like extra just random information that is not necessary. I realize I don't need to hear every single day of a main character's life to feel connected to them. I don't need to hear about the mundane. This book really kept it to the important moment and was able to explain them in such a beautiful way, introducing also Michael's love of writing poetry as well. So you would have his poems, you know, at the same time as you would be reading the book in verse. It was just incredible. Definitely deserved that Stonewall Book Award, and definitely a great idea for myself. Thank you again, past Gabriella, for this decision, because this was a perfect book to read for Pride and a great follow-up for One Last Stop. Then the next book I read, I actually started before The Black Flamingo and finished it after The Black Flamingo, so already that gives you an idea. But it was The Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, and I have to say, definitely one of my biggest disappointments of the year. I was so hyped for this book, and the cover is just outstanding. And again, I will reiterate, melanin on the cover always wins me over, but I was really disappointed with this book. I gave it a 2 stars, and honestly, I could have given it 1 based on how much I enjoyed it, but I gave it 2 because I thought the premise was just so interesting that it deserved an extra star for that. But I was highly disappointed. And this book, I had such great reviews and I was so excited. I'd been looking forward to this book for a while now, and I was kind of waiting to pick it up in the summer because, it is the story of a siren in a sort of urban fantasy where sirens are a thing, but they're sort of hidden. You can't let people know that you're a siren. And of course, sirens are always Black women, so they're very marginalized already, being Black, being women, but then they are sirens. And this book, the premise, incredible, chef's kiss to the premise. And I have to say, the way the book, to me at least, the way I interpreted the book was definitely the sirens to me in the story really felt like it was representing how trans Black women are treated in this society. Pushed aside. There's a line in the book, if I'm paraphrasing here, but there was a line in the book that was saying how, people who were fighting for Black rights, Black people and allies, of course, who were fighting for Black rights were so busy trying to win the big fight that they didn't have time for the Black women who were sirens. They were too much of a small, marginalized group for them to be cared for. They were like, we'd rather just get all the Black folks up rather than trying to concentrate on a smaller marginalized group. And to me, that felt exactly like how trans Black women are treated in the world, but specifically in North America. When we think about the amount of trans Black women who are murdered yearly in the United States, it is staggering. And I felt like this book was a perfect sort of, metaphor for Black trans women in America. But other than that, I really didn't like the way it was written. I didn't like the way it read. I wasn't particularly fond of the characters. I felt like some basic things were over-explained, and then some other things were not explained at all. The author would introduce a new sort of fantastical creature, but would not explain it. I know, basic, fantastical creature. You tell me vampire, I'm like, okay, sucks blood. Tell me vampire, I think, oh, and I think the moon. But when you bring up random things that are so not part of our pop culture, you need to explain them in a way. And then, but then on the next page, you would explain something super basic that is super prevalent in our pop culture. So all that made it a 2-star for me. I find it very unfortunate, but I still enjoyed the message that it relayed. Next, after being disappointed by A Song Below Water, I felt like something was missing. And I realized the 2 books that had worked for me this month so far were gay. It's Pride Month. I think my brain was hardwired to only enjoy gay things. So I picked up Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. Love this book. Woo! Another 5 stars this month. It went great for me in the gay side. Okay, the gay agenda is working hard. But Felix Ever After is the story of Felix Love. He is a student at an arts-centric high school, and he's kind of juggling being a trans boy, being queer, being Black, being poor, and going to this more prestigious school, navigating interpersonal relationships, but also he has this goal of falling in love because his name is Felix Love, and he's never been in love. And he feels like no one's ever going to love him because he's too much of a, niche. If that explains it, he's like, I'm too much. I'm trans, queer, and black. That's just too much. And I totally sympathize with him. But anyways, this was a great story. I just love the romance aspects. It was great sort of way of putting YA, but a bit more like it was YA because it was high school and all the characters were teens. But I felt like some of the subjects were a bit more leaning towards the line between YA and NA, I think. But yeah, I freaking love this book. It was so great to read, so much fun. I only threw the book across the room like 4 times because it was so good. You know when you're feeling like the angst or you're feeling the anxiety of the plot, or you're feeling something really big and you're just like, get this book out of my hands, I need to throw it against the wall. I don't know if you feel that, maybe that's just me, but I felt that multiple times in the book, so that tells you only great things in my perspective. And also, can we talk about the outstanding cover? We never get orange books. I don't own a single, I do, actually, I own 2 orange books. That's it. But it's a beautiful shade of orange and beautiful flowers. Oh, that was just outstanding. I was very happy with this read. So another book that I read this month was Evil Monkey Man, or The Adventures of Evil Monkey Man. I can't remember. But it is a graphic novel that I got through NetGalley. They offer, NetGalley is a service, if you don't know, that offers influencers, reviewers, and, professional in the book community access to advanced readers' copies of books electronically. So I got an advanced reader's copy. Actually, is it an advanced reader's copy? I'm pretty sure the book already came out. I'm not really sure what was going on with that, but it was available. It was like easy access. So I was like, why the hell not? I decided to read the graphic novel. Could have gone without it. Gonna be honest. I like the art style, but I felt it was a bit juvenile. The graphic novel wasn't marked as middle grade, but I would have marked it as such, so it was kind of disappointing. I was hoping something, like you say Evil Monkey Man, and I'm thinking King Kong, and you gave me like Barney, it was a weird vibe all around. The art style was a bit juvenile, the story was a bit juvenile. I didn't get much involved in the plot, so yeah, it was a pass for me. I gave it 2 stars. I'm not much of a 1-star giver. I don't think I've ever given a 1 star to a book before. And I've read Twilight, okay girl. But this was pretty close to the 1 star. And the last book I read this month was this super skinny little bitch. But it is The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, with a foreword by Oprah Winfrey. So if you don't know, Amanda Gorman is the poet who read at the inauguration of Joe Biden on January 20th, 2021. And this is the book version the printed version of her poem in book form. And of course, like me and most people, I think in North America, I did watch The Hill We Climb be performed by Amanda or be read by Amanda at the inauguration. But yes, I did receive this little pocketbook for my birthday. And so I thought, why the hell not to round off this month? I loved it. Of course I loved it. I already knew I loved the poem. The foreword by Oprah was cute. I have to say, like, it was a 1.5 pages of already this pretty tiny book. So it's like, when you say foreword by Oprah, you think like, oh, it's going to be 20 pages because it's freaking Oprah. But it's like, it was a 1.5 pages. So it was kind of like, okay. But yeah, really happy read. Of course, it was a 5-star because why the hell not? But I have to say, for the size of the poem, like, it was a historic moment, so I understand why it was turned into book form. And I know Amanda Gorman has already or will have a book that's her collection of all her poems, or many of her poems, plus The Hill We Climb, which I think is more worthy purchase. I wouldn't personally purchase just The Hill We Climb because it's one poem that has been turned into a book. I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say a waste of paper, but kind of is. But I don't take that as a detriment to the actual content, which is why it's still getting a 5 stars. But if I had to go in environmental impact, I would go with 0 stars. But otherwise, great little read to round off the month of June. It was a pretty good month. I had 2 bad reads, and then three great reads. So kind of evens out. But I have to say, I think it's no, I had 4 great reads and 2 bad reads. But I have to say the gays really won this month. I'm just so happy with my reading this month. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, please leave, let's leave a little rainbow emoji for Pride Month. Why don't we? To close it off really well. So if you watched all the way to the end, please let me know down in the comments what books you read this month, what were your highlights and your lowlights of the month, and leave a little rainbow emoji down below. And as always, if you haven't already, subscribe and join the nerd gang, and of course like the video. If you want more from me and you aren't tired of my voice already, you can come join me on all my other social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Goodreads. I'm not also on Storygraph. If you're into that kind of thing, Storygraph is like apparently the new Goodreads, so I had to jump on it. I'm also on Pinterest, if you want some of that as well. And if you want ways to support this channel, my Amazon wishlist is down below, my Ko-fi for donations, and my TubeBuddy and Book Outlet referral codes. If you use my Book Outlet referral code, you get $10 off and I get $10 off at no extra price to you. And as always, all the books that I talked about today will be linked down below with my Amazon affiliate links. If you buy from those links, I make a little moolah at, again, no extra price to you. So thank you guys so much. I will see you very, very soon, and love you all. Bye-bye.